Okay. We are videoing this for the YouTube channel. Um, we can ask questions throughout. So if you want to ask a question, um, we could like edit your question out and just so that it kind of seems like the video just keeps playing when we upload it to the YouTube channel. But everything that's going on here today, we can edit out if you want, but the aim is we're going to put it on the YouTube channel. So just bear that in mind if you want to say anything. And yeah, Miles has made this today. He's chosen the topic of digital sexuality. And yeah, we'll just play the video. And if you have any questions, you can ask him about it. You can ask it in the text chat, or you can just unmute and ask, and then we'll pause the video. So yeah, that should be enough.
So this week's topic is digital sexuality. Now I'm going to get into this by explaining a few things. First of all is Dionysian. So I use this term, it's coined by two people, Nietzsche and Camelia Paglia? I still can't fucking learn how to pronounce her name. She defined Dionysian as nature, as a forest, as unpredictable, illogical, irrational, unsensical, while she defined Apollon as the opposite, as structured, logic, and predictable. Now, she said that Dionysian is feminine and Apollon is masculine because men are more detail-oriented, we're more focused, we're more linear set, we're more logical, while women are more passionate, emotional, and I guess you could say illogical. Now, you could go about this with a bias, but it's nature and it's how humans have functioned for so long. So there's really no opinions to have about this. Now, the second thing I want to explain is the Anima and Animus. So within every human, let's just take men for example. Now, I do know a lot more about male sexuality than female because I'm male and I've spent a lot of time with myself and I haven't spent too much time with women to understand this. So male sexuality, male sexuality. Let's start off with this. So the animus within a man is the unconscious part of our minds, and is the feminine unconscious. Now, an anima is categorized as an archetype. So it's like a character within our being. But for every individual man, it's different. So anima is the sexualized feminine. Now it usually is represented by what we find attractive. So in all of us, we have a type of woman we're really attracted to. Now that's called the animus. No, the anima. The anima is the feminine, the animus is the masculine. So within a human male, there exists the anima, which is the type we find attractive. Now it exists in a larger, more complicated version of this, but I'm just going to leave it at that. And the animus is the unconscious masculine. Now, the unconscious sexual masculine. Now, a heterosexual male does have an anima and an animus, but the anima is more expressed than the animus. And it's the animus, you could say in a spiritual sense, is I like to think of the anima and the animus as reincarnations, but I'll get into that later. But within me, there exists an anima, which is primarily expressed, and an animus, which is not expressed too much, but it's there. So to start off with that knowledge, I want to explain how gendered sexuality operates. Us men are scopophilic, and scopophilia is a term coined by Freud. Scopophilia is sexualization of the visual. So men, like myself, are attracted to visual things in our partners. We have been adapted to see signs of good reproductive value in women. This could be seen in like health. Signs of health, which is hair, the face shit, a nice facial structure, big tits and a big ass for giving birth and to feed our children. Now, this is also seen in, this is a trait that we adapted to see those things and to predict that would be a good mate for us. Now, each in our own individual genetic code determines what partner would be best for us. So, I would have a certain type of woman, or I have a genetic code within me that matches with another female's genetic code that would produce the optimal healthy child. Now, I'm designed to see that compatibility as highly attractive. So that could be the anima in a fucking nihilistic, linear science bullshit way of saying it. So, scopophilia is visualization of the sexual. No, sexualization of the visual. There we go. Now, female sexuality exists somewhat in a scopophilic way, but it's a lot more energetic and emotional based. And maybe some materialistic sense too, you know, if the man can provide for her in that sense, or at least from a developmental aspect. Now, I want to go into our next area here with a quote from Wilhelm Reich. It is sexual energy which governs the structure of human feelings and thinkings. So our sexuality is so fucking huge in our unconscious and conscious. Our socialization is so sexuality based. When two random people see each other, they're not horny for each other to say, but a lot of sexual, not thoughts, but operations go on in their head. We are trained to analyze each other and to see where do we stand on a reproductive value base, on a sexual value base. Is this person of equal, greater, or less sexual value than me? Now, a man who sees a woman and I am attracted to her, immediately, unconsciously and consciously, my mind analyzes every part about her. Health, genetic compatibility, physical, like, how are they walking? This is an unconscious thing that I cannot control, that no man can control. And it's how we were survived. Now, this sexual analysis, the sexual worth analysis, it's a primal instinct. And it could be hijacked, it could be taken and used against us in a say. Now, I want to get into the next thing. So, our sexuality is plastic. It's adaptable to the environment around us. Now, media. So, if someone were to not use the internet and just exist in the world, say like the medieval ages, a man who is just there, no internet, nothing in the way of blocking his sexual development, he'll be attracted to very things that we would think are weird, but for him, he exists in an organic environment. There is no media exaggerating or advertising certain traits in a woman, and he would be completely attracted to something that we wouldn't see, or we may see. It may mirror it, but it may be a lot less exaggerated. Now, our sexuality is so adaptable. If we plummet our conscious mind into something foreign and strange, we could become strangely attracted to it. So this happens a lot in the digital. Now, I myself I've been studying this within myself. So I grew up not socializing enough as I should. And I grew up playing video games on the internet, that kind of shit. So what happened with me is I had this extroverted thing. My sexuality is outward. Sexuality is innately something that we shoot out. We come out. It is something that we project outward. Jesus Christ, I look like a fucking villain with this. There's like no lighting in here. I apologize for that. So anyways, our sexuality is something we throw out, we launch out from ourselves. Now, if you sit and your primary socialization is through fake media, then something weird starts to happen. So I would play these video games as a kid. Now I'm gonna get a little bit dicey here. So I played these video games as a kid, and I remember playing a lot of anime games growing up because I thought it was cool and shit. And it really does appeal to the youthful masculine thing. It's like these cool fucking looking characters with swords and shit, and it's all colorful, and it really appeals to a young boy. But within anime, there's so much hooking into it. Hooks you in and it drags you into this disgusting digitalized sexuality. Now let's get into this really quickly, and then I'll describe why I don't like anime. Now, a digitalized sexuality. I was a boy, I was a young kid, and I grew up playing these video games that had a lot of sexual overtones because I liked anime as a kid, a lot of the sexualized thing. So, I would consume more anime than I would interact with people. And what this did to me is my conscious mind, my ego, my conscious mind it got enveloped, and it readapted itself to not excel into reality, but excel into the fake. So I became so good. I became adapted to consuming anime. Now I lost the ability to interact with reality, with other people, and I lost the ability to interact with members of the opposite sex. Now, this could be diagnosed as a form of autism, media-induced autism, as the great meme analysis said. And I definitely agree with that, but it's not a permanent disfigurement. Now, I completely quenched my conscious mind into this fake stuff that doesn't exist. And I needed to project my sexuality outward, but there was no outward. There was nothing out. There's nothing to shoot it at. So it became ingrown, like a hair or a nail. And just like an ingrown hair or nail, it fucking hurt. It caused a lot of pain. Now, what's happening with this is something that became an outward, that became inward, it causes struggle. So when I would consume this media, I would also consume porn. I started masturbating to porn at 8 years old, which is fucked, but it's a sign of how dependent on media I was for my human, because I wasn't socialized enough. So my sexuality and my conscious mind became adapted to the internet and not adapted to reality. So it became an inward, and my only way of expressing not only my emotional mind but my sexual mind was through the consumption of media. And I was so hooked on pornography. That's how it gets us. That's another thing. That's the digital sexuality, because our minds are so readapted to the sexuality of media and not reality that we lose the ability to interact with the external world, and we're delved even deeper into the digital. So I see this a lot in this server. And I'm going to get on to why I don't like anime here. I see this a lot in the server, is these guys that either struggle with NoFap, or they succeed but they don't see any benefits. Now, they are connoisseurs of anime. They love their fucking anime. And they can't give it up. They either love their anime or their video games. They love their media, typically anime, but this can also happen in video games. But they love their media and they can't give it up. What's going on in their head is they're so not adapted to reality, and they can't find a partner, that their only way of sexual expression is ingrown, and it's consuming. It's not creating. It's not going out and interacting with someone. It's not going out and having a fun date, or I'm sorry to get a little immoral about it, but it's not going out and having sex. It's sitting in your room, fucking depressed, escaping your pain with porn, or with video games, or with anime, with some hypersexualized, non-realistic thing. And I see that's what happens to these guys. They can't express external. They don't. The world around them is foreign, and the only thing they know is consumption. Now, I myself have been in that path of sexual consumption, or the only sexuality I knew was ingrown and painful and suffer. It fucking hurt, my dude. Now, this is a huge struggle for us in the modern age, but that is my reason why I don't like anime. It is perfectly designed to hook us into the digital sexuality and completely just fuck us up and not make us adaptable to reality. So I taught you what's going on in some of these people, and you may be some of these people. I was for sure. But let me get into the good news, because I just fucking told you all this shit. The recovery process. So we basically have been taught to consume to feel. If we want something in the world, we have to consume. If we want motivation, we have to consume motivating things. If we want sex, if we want to express our horniness, we have to consume instead of create. So I want to get into the recovery process. So Wilhelm Reich, that crazy fucker, has a long ass quote about healing someone who is sexually neurotic, and sexual neurosis and digital sexuality. It falls in the same category. Anyways, I'm not going to read the quote because it's long as fuck, but he basically said, if you manage to get a partner, a lot of your problems will disappear. Not because magic partnership. Say someone who is in that digital neurosis stage, where they're completely their sexuality and mental expression is bound to consumption. They get a partner in reality, and they're cut off from the internet. They will heal themselves because they're able to take their ingrown sexuality and shoot it out, healthily redirect it from damaging themselves to something else that is healthy and productive. Now, he's saying that, let me see if I can't read this. If the patient thereby attains the capacity for full orgasmic gratification, and if he is fortunate enough to find a suitable partner, we can regularly observe a far-reaching and, in many instances, astonishing change in his overall behavior. So, what you need to do, what we need to do, and I'm in the stage right now of recovery from the digital sexuality. We need to take ourselves, our conscious mind, our ego, and we need to push it out from the consumption, and we need to put ourselves into the foreign reality and relearn how things work. Now, how I do this is this is not a healthy way, because I've gotten an addictive relationship to work, but I'm a delivery driver for DoorDash. I don't need to be, but I do it so I interact with the world around me. I interact with people. I flirt with women. Now, that's one thing you need to do. The starting stage is to take your fucking conscious mind and push it out into reality and relearn. Now, one of the things I want you to do, if you're in this, is I want you to take walks around your town or something like that, or figure out some way to get this. And I want you to say hello to 5 random people, not including cashiers at stores. And I want you to go around and say hello to 5 people for as long as you can do this. Now, once you get to that, I want you to rebuild your ability to socialize and get rid of your social anxiety. Now, your social anxiety exists because you don't know how to interact with people anymore, and you become fearful of it. So, to interact with people and to go out into reality and say hello to 5 random people, it's going to be fucking awkward at first, but you're going to build up a baseline of how to interact with people and how people interact. Now, if I was walking down the street and some nervous guy said hello to me, I wouldn't really... I really wouldn't think much of it. And even if it was embarrassing for him, I wouldn't be like, oh, what a fucking retard. So, what the fuck is going on tonight? So anyways, I wouldn't feel weird or angered or upset at this guy for saying hello to me. Now, I want you to go out and do that. Now, if it's a woman, no, I should rephrase. You should go out and say hello to 5 random women. Now, that's not easy, but it's a very good way to relearn how to interact with the people around us, with the external world around us. Now, the more and more you do that, you're going to build an ability to interact with women and with people. And the better you get, the more you can flirt. Now, I noticed this in myself. I was completely oblivious to flirting, and I didn't know how to do it. But then I learned how to do it through this method of going around and talking to 5 random people. Now, what happened was I got fucking good at it. Really good at it. And I remember this one time I walked into a store and I was just talking to this random chick. I didn't I didn't want to get with her. I had no reason to flirt with her, but I did it anyways. And I made her really laugh. She was stressed out at first, but I made her laugh. I made her happy, not in like a forced laugh, but like a really, like I put a smile on her face. And that within me, I had the ability to make this random, somewhat attractive. I didn't find her attractive. She was attractive. So this attractive woman smile, and to that fulfilled. That was fulfilling. That felt good, not in an ego stroke way, but that just felt right to do. Now, it's hard to learn how to flirt, and you're gonna fail so many times. But fuck, you never will get good at something if you don't fail at something. Now, when it relates to nofap, we are stuck in this place where we can't interact with people of the opposite sex. We can't really, we're not adapted to interacting with members of the opposite sex, so we can't really get them. And as we can't get them in a sexual sense, we can't get them as partners. So we cope with this by delving deeper into porn, where we can release our sexual energy. But since we do it so much, we've become adapted to instant gratification, and because of that, we can't really readapt ourselves too well. So it's a struggle, and it's hard, and it fucking sucks, and it's not our fault, but it's our problem. It's our problem to fix. Now, if you want a fucking girlfriend, and you're a coomer, you're this digital sexual coomer man, and you want a girlfriend, what do? Do you download mods in a video game to emulate that, or do you watch more porn? Now, I'm guilty of that, of downloading video game mods to emulate romance. And I'm embarrassed to say that, but that's what I've done before as a teenager and an early adult before nofap. And watched a lot of porn to cope with these feelings of, wow, I really want someone. And this is how the digital sexual is. Now, I rambled long enough, and I tried to make this video structured, but it really isn't. So I apologize for that. Now, this is a lot to fucking understand, and I'm not perfect at explaining things, so please ask questions. You can DM me. You can DM me on my Discord account, yeah. And I could help you as much as I can. Now, I said I have 2 jobs, and I'm forcing myself into reality as much as I can. So I can't really be around 24/7 to help you with this. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, that's it. God bless. Remember, guys, don't fap. Don't. Oh shit! Don't relapse. Relapsing is bad. I wanna finish this video off with a coconut water. Oh
Yeah, that was the video. If anyone has any questions about that video,
yeah, go ahead and
or mouse, you can type or you can unmute.
yeah, unmute. Let's do this guy. You guys can type in the support text. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have a note here on my computer desk. Talk about VR chat at group support, signed by Drunk Miles. So yesterday there was a guy in chat who was saying he was emulating human interaction with VR chat. Well, this is me asking a question, so it's someone asking a question. Okay, so VR chat, I think personally, is one of like the most destructive things you can consume because of how real it feels. And I've gotten absolutely shit faced multiple times and gone on to VR chat. So I was my brain was kind of fucked already. So I went in there and I like it felt real. Like the game felt real, especially when I was that drunk. So how much damage do you think it's doing to someone's like social consciousness to be playing that game where it's like anime characters and fucking memes all over the place? That in my opinion, that's like that's like taking a fucking sledgehammer to your nuts in your mind, man. That game's fucked. So I explained that. Okay, other people questions. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask away. Could be anything. Anything related to the topic.
Don't be shy. Talk to 5 people and what else? Okay, Mr. fucking anime profile picture. I see that. I fucking see that. You don't think I see that? I see that. You fucker. Okay, the questions. So takeaway. Where to talk wait, no, I want you guys to like take walks around your town. If you can't do that, like at any chance you get to go outside, I want you to say hello to fucking random people. Or like engage in conversation with random people. And what you're doing is you're just relearning how to interact with people. And it's really good for you to do that. And it's not comfortable, it's not easy, but what you're gonna get to this point where there's someone you find attractive and you want to talk to them, but like there's something in your mind blocking you from doing that. And once you overcome that, you have this like huge gratification. And you're like, yeah, I conquered this feeling and I'm able to interact with someone. I had this feeling recently where I was door dashing and I was talking. No, I was at a restaurant and then I have to wait outside for the order because of COVID. And there's this fucking absolutely beautiful woman who did the same, who was like door dashing too. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna randomly talk to her. So I just started talking to her. And like after I got my order and I was walking away to my car, I was like, holy fucking shit, I just did that. You know? And like what if something else were to go on? And like see, I have a chance of at reality now. Like I'm existing in reality now. Like all my thoughts and feelings are taking place in the context of reality rather than video games. And that's where you want to be. Okay.
Okay, I'll read out the question from
Okay,
Jumpman.
okay, thank you.
So he says, Jumpman's wondering, he says, I'm attached to girls on screen, but I like it when it comes to real girls and it's just hard. I know he covered in this video, but like I do stop getting scared.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird.
Yeah. So you're getting scared because you don't know how to interact with women in reality, and you're automatically fearing the unknown. And since it's something that's really high strain, something really like important, you're freaking out about it. So I would say to continue no fap for as long as possible. And I want you to slowly build up the ability to talk to people, not just women, people in general. You need to go outside. You need to talk to people, face to face interactions. You need to maintain eye contact. I'm scared. What if something? Isn't that what you want?
Okay. Jumpman, here's the thing. You have anxiety when you're talking to people, and probably you have even more anxiety when talking to girls. Um, the best thing you can do is remove the anxiety by getting used to talking to people and talking to girls. And how
Yeah.
you want to do this is you don't want to go on Omegle. You don't want to go on VR chat. You don't want to try and reintroduce yourself to the real world by talking to people on a digital medium. It's not the same thing. You want to get off social media. You want to get off these communication apps, even Discord chat servers. You want to.
Yeah.
They do not compare. The best thing you can do is to go out in real life and spark up conversations with real people. You don't have to make it a sexual thing. You don't have to try and escalate like that way. You just have to get used to being able to do that. It's a skill that you develop, and the nerves do go away. Um, when you said you're scared that if you interact with girls and something turns sexual, what are you actually scared about there? Could you specify? Is it that you don't want something to turn sexual, or you wouldn't know how to perform, or something like that? Because at the end of the day, I don't really think that matters. Um, if you're scared because you don't want anything to happen, then nothing has to happen.
What if it goes wrong? See, like you're thinking of the worst possible outcome.
It's
You know what
it's
I
this
mean?
thing, yeah, Jumpman. It seems to me like you're very anxious, and all these things I'm reading here. What if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't get hard or something? What if it's kind of weird? This is your anxiety coming up with excuses to keep you away from real life interaction. And the best thing you can do is to just push past that and just test yourself. And that's really the only way. Test yourself in the real world. Okay. You can take back over, Mars. If I
Okay,
just
yeah,
thought I
no.
had to answer that.
No, you're good. You're good. It looks like we have a little break from questions currently. Oh, fuck. Stop recording. No, I would continue. I would continue. I could come up with something. I could come up with something right now on the spot. Okay. I want to. Okay, I've noticed. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking until someone asks a question. Okay, I've noticed a good way to really recover and to get good at interaction with people is to get like a cashier job or a job where you kind of like interact with people in that way. Like I got a job at a liquor store and I've only been there for like a few months. No, not even a month. Like 1.5 months at the most, but like I've greatly improved how to interact with people just because of how many people are coming in, and eventually it doesn't become like nerving. I don't get anxious when talking to people anymore. It just is like, okay, I'm talking to someone. It's second nature. Like it's so unconscious that I do it now. And that's what you want to be. That's really good right there. But for a lot of people, it's like scary to get that. Relax, you fucker. But
Well, if that's everything everyone has to ask,
yeah,
um, that's fine. That's plenty fine. Uh, but yeah, that's the video. Thank you everyone for coming. There may be some more questions, so I don't want to end it off just yet. But if you do want to
yeah.
leave, you can leave. Let's give a round of applause for Miles. Let's go. I say much better
Thank
than
you.
the
The first
original
one.
one. And hey, maybe we'll get some more. Maybe we will. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks
I'll
so much.
stay
Thanks,
in
good
here for a
smiles.
little bit. Yeah, no worries. I'll be in here for a little bit longer in case there's any other questions. Feel free to message me whenever you want.